Hello, everybody, and welcome to Makeover Monday, week 41. This week we are looking at a visualization from DataIQ about data assets and data culture. So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for everyone for joining. Before I get started, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That'll alert you for any new live videos we're doing or tutorials or anything like that. It's a great way to keep up with the content that we're putting on this channel. We're going to be trying to do more and more every week, so that's the best way to stay in touch with us. So the original visualization we're looking at here is a circular bar chart, or something like that. And I guess what first stands out to me is that it's quite terrible. I've seen a lot of people reproducing these this week, and they communicate very, very poorly. So, for example, I see kind of a black bar, it looks like for retail, about, I don't know, 4 or 5 in from the top. It's 13%, but it comes all the way around to about 90%. These charts, they're not even ordered. They're very, very difficult to read, and they're incredibly inaccurate. What happens if something is more than 100%? How do you display that in a circular bar chart? So what I thought I would do today is start with actually showing you how to build a chart like this. I've talked, maybe we could talk a little bit more along the way about why they don't work, but also again, it can be good practice to learn how to do these, but I've seen people just trying to reproduce this, and I don't understand why. The idea behind Makeover Monday is to try to make the chart better. Now, you might create a circular histogram, but maybe you make a better one, whatever. But creating the original again doesn't really benefit anybody. So let's go ahead and start by, again, like I always like to look at the source article and just check and see if there's anything in particular that, let's see, that I might be interested in. Okay, so there's nothing on that. And then I must be in this document here. Let me try this. Okay, there's a big brain on the first page. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to scan to find the chart because that'll help me. Wow, there's some real doozies in here. Okay, there's a stacked bar chart, regular bar chart. All right, this should be in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so we're looking at sample profile and methodology, respondents by company size. Okay, what the heck does this tell me? Okay, so it's respondents by industry sector. Okay, so we got just a bunch of percentages. All right, very simple. So I've actually gone ahead and downloaded the data already, so you can see it here. Let's see, let me close the data source, and let's go ahead and connect to it. Okay, so if we're going to build a circular histogram or circular bar chart, the first thing that I need to do is to, let me see here. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to densify the data, or we need to union it to itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove that field, and I'm going to create a new union. And I'm going to drag the week 41 sheet in twice. And if I hit OK, I should see the data in here twice. So we can see the table name is W41 and W41.1. So it's kind of appended the number on there. Okay, that's good. So the first thing, so we've gone ahead and created our union. Basically, we've just doubled up the data. So if I show you what that looks like, we've got the industry sector. Let me just do it like this. Industry sector, the respondents, and we can see everything is duplicated. Okay, that's what we actually want. So I'm going to create a calculated field called path. And I'm just going to say if table name equals W41, and then 0 else 1 end. So that's just, we're going to use that to play a game of connect the dots later on. Oops, let me undo. I want that to be a dimension though, so I'm just going to drag it up. And if I put this into the view, you can see it gives me my zeros and ones. Okay, great. That's what I wanted so far. Okay, so now that I have that path, I'm going to go ahead and create bins. I'll just leave it called path bin, and I want them to be the size of 1. Once I have those path bins, I need to create a few calculations. The first one that I'm going to create, let's see here. Sorry, let me check something here. The first one that I want to go ahead and create is pi. So let me see here. Oops, wrong. What am I doing here? Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new calculated field. I need to get the maximum value of pi within the window. So I'm just going to call this pi. And it's going to be a window max of the max of pi. Okay, so this is always basically just going to give us pi, but that's okay. So let's hit OK. And the next thing we need to do is we need to rank the values. So if I go ahead and put the industry sector on here, and for now, I'll just put 0 and 1 up here, and the values in the view. If I rank these, I want to go ahead and create a calculated field, and I'm going to call it my rank. And I want to do a rank unique of the, let's see, of the sum of respondents. All right, let's hit OK, and let's see what we get here. So let's drag that onto the, let's put it here on the rows, and I'm going to make it discrete. And for now, let's just go ahead and let's see. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so how do we want to calculate this? Let's see. We want to calculate this like that. So yeah, we want to do it for each path. We want to do it by the industry sector. So we get the same numbers everywhere. Okay, that's good. I'm going to move it to the front just to make it a bit easier for you to see. And then I'm just going to go ahead and subtract zeros. So these go from 0 to 15. So let's see. So, or no, I want to do it backwards. So 0. And there we go. So I want the smallest. So I probably could have, actually could have specified descending on there. So, or I'm sorry, ascending. So after this, I can specify ASC. And there we go. All right. So we're going to make them ascending. And then I need to get the maximum value of the rank. So let me call this rank max. And it's going to be the window max of the rank. And hit OK, and we should get 16 back because that's the highest rank. Let me just go ahead and convert this to discrete and convert that to discrete. Okay, so let's put the rank max in here. And we want to edit the table calc, and we want to do it for the whole window. So we get 16, all right. And then the rank is by path. Okay, good. So we've got 16 there. That gives me my maximum rank. And then I need to kind of create my X and my Y. So let me go ahead and I'm going to clear this sheet now. I verified those are working correctly. So I'm going to create an X field. And that's going to be the cosine of the index minus 1. So an index is one of our counter functions. And let's see, so it should be index minus 1. And these should have brackets around them. Oops. Okay, index minus 1 times pi, times our pi calculation, divided by 180. That's going to give us that kind of semicircular sort of view. And then I want to multiply that by my rank max. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that and hit OK. And let's create another calculated field. We're going to call this one Y. And the Y is going to be the same, except this is going to be the sine instead of the cosine. So sine index minus 1 times pi divided by 180. Perfect. All right, let's hit OK. And now what we want to do is we're going to put the X on the X, the Y on the Y. And we need to change the mark type to a line. We need to have the industry sector on detail, and we need to have the path on the path bin on the path. Okay, so we're getting close now. Let's see. So let's see. Okay, so now we need to actually tell it how to draw the semicircle. So let's edit our table calc. Oops, edit our table calc. And the rank we want to do by the path bin. The X, everything is going to be by the path bin. So pi by the path bin, rank max by the path bin, and rank by the path bin. Okay, so that looks good. And then let's do the same thing for the Y, and hopefully I don't screw this up. So path, path, so pi, rank max, and then rank. Okay, so those all look good so far. Let's see, so I've got industry sector. I'm going to put that on my label. Automotive. Okay, so I messed up one of my calculations, so bear with me for just a second while I try to fix that. So let me switch this back. So let me change this to get rid of the ascending. This really shouldn't matter, but I'm just going to put a minus sign in front anyway. Okay, yeah, that did make a difference. So let's undo. Okay, so, oh, I've got these backwards as well. So actually, I should rename those. They're not quite right. So I'm just going to rename this as column and rename this one as row. That way I know which one is which. All right. So what did I mess up here? So I need to have the respondents on the text as well. All right, so we're good so far. The path is on the path. Okay, so we've got those values. And okay, so let's look at our calculations. Oops. So I messed up somewhere here. So let's edit our table calc. Window max of pi. Okay, so let me double check here. I'm verifying this against a workbook that I've done before. So, oh, come on. So window max of pi. Okay, why does it look like I have too many? No, I don't. That's fine. And then the rank I know is okay, and the rank max I know is okay. Let's see here. The X. Come on. So this should be the index times the rank max. So index, so those should be inside brackets. Okay, let me just double check and make sure I've got that right. Let's see, where was it here? So next is on the row, so let's, come on. So that goes there, times pi divided by 180 times the rank max. Okay, that looks right. And then the sign should be the same. Okay, so let me just double check that. Edit. Okay. So sign. Okay, that all looks correct as well. Times pi divided by 180 times pi divided by 180. Okay, so I've messed up my configuration somewhere, so just bear with me for a second. Okay, so path, 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 path. Let's see, so the rank has to be by name. Okay, that's where I messed up. So let's edit the table calc, and the rank needs to be like that. Okay, so, oh, this doesn't look right. All right, almost there, sorry. So let me just double check my configuration again. So rank, so Y, pi, rank max, and rank. Okay, so rank is the only one by that, which I think I have correct. And then the rank, the X, the pi, the rank max. Okay, all of that looks good. Okay, so let me double check this one. Okay, so I have messed up something somewhere. That should be all that I need to do. So columns, path, the bin, the line. Okay. So this is why you don't create complicated things, because they're too difficult to manage. All right, so let me just double check the pi calculation. So window max, the max of pi, I'm just going to copy and paste that. It should be the same, yep. Okay, the rank should be the rank unique. Let me just try the minus sign again. This should make a difference. Yep, that's not going to matter. And then the rank max is the window max of rank. The window max of rank. Okay. So what's happening here is I'm not getting my densified data. So let's see. So my path, edit. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is where I messed up. I messed up my path. So let me go here and edit that one. Oh, shoot. I hate it when Tableau does that, when you just paste something in and it breaks the whole damn thing. Okay, so else. Okay, so let's see. So this, instead of value, this should be respondent percent and respondent percent. Okay, let's hit apply. All right, and then my path bin. So let me just double check this again. So when one, oh, so type. Let's see here. Okay, when 1, then 0, when 2, then, okay, so I want it to be 0, and otherwise that. Okay, so let me double check my table calcs again. Oh no, my bin, I think I need to adjust my bin maybe. So edit, that goes from 0 to 1. Okay, so I should have, for some reason, all of the marks are not showing up in the view for me. Let me see here. So this band is 1, 0 to 270. Okay, so my bin goes from 0 to 270. Okay, so that looks correct. All right. So I'm just going to double check my table calcs one more time. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to say screw it and move on to something else, because you can see how complicated these things get. So row, pi, rank, and rank max. Okay, and rank. Okay, so let me just check one last thing. So none of these have any kind of sorting or anything in them. That's going to affect it. Okay, so I'm going to say terrible idea and move on. Okay, sorry about that. That was kind of not very good. So let's see here. So let me just see if there's any. Okay. Oh boy, a lot of chatter on here already. Okay, so right, so what are some other things we could do? So I've got some ideas here. So maybe we'll try like a waffle chart next. So I'm going to go back to my sheet here, and I'm going to create a new data source. Actually, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this sheet, and I'm going to delete this data source. And when I do that, I can now pretend that that never happened. So let's go to more, and I want to check, bring in my data set. Okay, and bring in my sheet. And I'm going to double click on it to get me back to kind of the old join window. Oh, what happened there? Hang on one sec. It looked like something got messed up. Okay, so let's open. All right, and then I need to add another data source, which is going to be my Waffle Chart template. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Open. And you see this goes from, so when I bring in Waffle Chart template and I join it, there's no field to join on. So I'm going to create a calculated join. It's just going to be the value of 1. I'm just basically creating a dummy join because I want every record in the original data source to have 100 records, all of the same value. So you can see automotive, for example. If I sort automotive, it has every value going in. We've got 100 rows now for automotive. Okay, so, and I've already brought in the columns and rows, so let me bring those up here. So column goes to the columns, row goes to the rows. For now, I'm just going to filter down to one industry sector just to make sure it works. And let's see what value is it. So automotive should be 1.1%. Oh, okay, so I'm going to need to divide my respondents by 10. That's okay. That's fine. So let me just make them circles, and I want to color them. So let's see. So I'll just call it color. It doesn't matter. And I want to say my respondents divided by 100 is less than or equal to my percentage field. So let's try that. I think that is it. Okay, so 1.1%, so you can see it there. And I'm going to go ahead and show the filter. Actually, let me build, I'm going to bring industry sector respondents, but I need to make this an average. And what's the biggest one? So the biggest one is 13 for retail. So if I pick retail instead of automotive, I should see 13 dots, 10, 11, 12. It looks like, okay, so respondents, retail is 13, so it should be 13%. So my calculation is off by 1. So let's see, color. Respondents divided by 100 is, let's say, less than, is that right? Yeah, there we go. So I just had it backwards. Now, when I create these, you can either do them like this and maybe make them squares, you know, and whatever. It's kind of a, there's lots of ways you can do it. I'm actually going to make both of these continuous. And it's going to give me kind of what looks like a scatter plot almost. And then if I kind of make these bigger, I can kind of fit them in sort of any way I want. So it's really whatever your preference is. So maybe I'll just go back to the easy way, something like that. And I'm going to sort these the opposite way around, so descending, because I want my circles at the bottom instead. So yeah, so now that I have my industry sector, I could probably lay these out. So if I just put like industry sector here, I'm going to get them all going kind of left to right, which doesn't look particularly great. So let me sort my industry sector, descending by the field, and we want to do it by the percentage. Okay, so I'll basically put the biggest one first and then the second and so on. So we could probably lay this out in like a trellis design. So I'm going to go ahead and find my calculations for this. Oh, no, that's not it. Right, so here we go. So I'm just going to copy these calculations. Basically, I want to create like a small multiples view. So columns and then, okay. And then let's create another calculated field called rows. These are just the calculations you use to create the small multiples. So I'm going to take industry and put that on detail. I can see we've got kind of this weird 10 by 10 grid. I'm going to make both of these calculations I just created as discrete. So put columns in the columns, rows in the rows. Wow, this is looking kind of funky. And we want to compute that using industry sector. And now we get a, okay, so something isn't quite right here. Oh, I see. It's because we need to also compute it by, let's see, color, I think. Also by color. Okay, there we go. So now we've got our little small multiples view. If I set fit entire view, we can now see them all together. So I can hide the headers. Maybe this might be a case where it makes a bit more sense to make these continuous. Let's see what happens if I make this continuous and I make this one continuous. See, now we've got a bit more spacing for the circles. And then what I would do here is probably do something like maybe make the trues blue. Actually, let's go back to the article and see if they have any kind of like standard colors for their color palette. Yeah, so they don't really have any. Let's see, DataIQ. Okay, they don't really have, doesn't really look like they have any kind of logo or anything. It just looks like black and gray. So maybe I'll make the trues. Oh, wrong way around. So that's zeros, and then the falses, maybe I'll just make some kind of gray. And I've got those backwards, of course. So the falses need to be, so let's just copy that. And then the trues need to be the grays. Okay, so now we've got something like that. Maybe that's a bit better. Yeah. So in this respondents field, I'm going to go ahead and change the default number format for it. It's not a percentage, but I want it displayed as a percentage because right now they're whole numbers. So I'm going to do 1% or just one decimal and then percent sign. And now when I hover over, if I put this onto the tooltip, or actually I'll put it on detail, you can see when I hover over, I can see 13% for retail, etc. Now what I could probably do is if I create a calculated field, and I'm going to call this my, let's call this my industry, let's see, no, sector label. I'm going to say if column equals 5 and row equals 5, then I want to bring back the sector end, otherwise blank. And let's see what happens here. So if I put that onto the label shelf, and I need to make it a attribute because I don't want it to affect my, okay, so we've got something like that. And then I want to do the same thing, so duplicate, but I want this to be my responses, respondents label. So in this case, I'm going to now put my respondents here instead. And let's change the default number format for that to 1 decimal with a percent sign. So if I put that on label as well, and again, I need to make it a attribute. Okay, so we're getting something a bit better. And if I do label, maybe center and center, allow overlap. Okay, so that looks better. So what I would do from here is, so respondents, I don't know why it always puts these backwards. It's like super annoying. So there's our label and then that. So maybe I'll put the sector label, maybe I'll make that like, I don't know, 14 point. Let's just hit apply. And then maybe I'll make this like, I don't know, 24 point or something. Apply. Maybe make that bold. Okay, so there's your kind of like, so let's uncheck show header, uncheck show header. And now you don't even need any like tooltips either. So I'm just going to go into tooltip and uncheck that. And then a bit of formatting. And I would get rid of the grid lines, get rid of the lines, and get rid of my row and column dividers. Okay, now if I throw this into a dashboard, let me get rid of that. It looks okay. You know, some of these fonts are too big. Something's happening over here. What's wrong with this one? It's because the names are too long. So what I'm going to do, you see these three are all financial services. So why don't I just, first off, I'm going to group those and then rename. No, it's, well, I don't know if I'm going to need that later or not. So let me put this back here. Okay, and then I'm going to just rename this one as banking. Edit alias is insurance. And then, let's see, I'm going to call this, let's call this other financial services. That's probably a bad name for it, but this one, but there we already have an other, so let's go here and let's see here what happened here. So industry sector, why did it not rename these? So on the sector label, oh shoot, that's because I aliased the wrong things. So let me go in here. So, oh, my laptop battery is low. Hang on 1 second, I need to plug this in. Okay, should be good now. Sorry about that. So I'm going to alias these. I'll call this one banking. Call this one insurance. And call this one other. Something like that. I don't know how they abbreviate that. Okay, so now if we go here, we see all of them. They're in a nice, neat order. Okay, maybe some other tweaks I might make to this is make this a lighter gray. So let me choose the gray color palette, make the trues lighter. Oh, hang on 1 second. Let's turn off. Okay. So what's that look like now? Okay, that's okay. I don't love it. This is where you kind of just have to sort of keep playing around with the size of the things to get them. Okay. Okay, so this is, you know, we can call this one our waffle chart. It's okay, not terrible. I don't love it, but it's not terrible. So what else did I have that I wanted to show? So that's that. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to build some other charts while we're here, if that's okay. Okay. Yeah, so Chimdi, I did mention that I was going to illustrate the complexity of it, but I couldn't do it. So that's the problem with doing those kind of charts. If they're complex to build, imagine somebody else trying to maintain them. Anyway, let's build some other charts then. I'm going to add, so I'm going to rename this one as So I'm going to call this MMW41 waffle because I don't want it to get mixed up. So I'm going to add a new data source. And let's go to 2020. And let's pick the data source again. And okay, so I'm just going to call this one. I don't know why it is trying to do this. I haven't hit anything, so remove. Okay. So go to a new sheet, and again, first thing I'm going to do is set my default number format. So it's going to be 1 decimal place with a percentage sign at the end. I could divide it by 100 and then format it as a percentage. That seems a bit unnecessary. So the next chart that I was going to build was just a, why don't we try, what I had some more examples here. So we did that. We're not going to do that. We could build out maybe some of these kind of charts. So, right, let's start with just a simple bar chart. So I'm going to put industry sector in the rows and responses in the columns. And for now, I'm just going to set it to fit entire view and hit sort descending. Okay, so there we go. So one thing that I might do is, yeah, this is a regular bar chart. We can just turn the labels on. Okay, good. We can call it quits. So this is just our bar chart. All right, so oops, not bar chart, bar chart. But I'm going to make it hopefully a bit easier to understand. So I'm going to duplicate this, and this one goes to 13%. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in my columns, I'm going to do an average of 1. And that's going to give me the value of 1. You see how this goes out to 1. If I now dual axis this and synchronize, I'm going to make them both, go to the all marks card and make them both bars. Okay, so let's see here. I thought I synchronized. Yeah, so I want this, I want the respondents to be in the front. So let's move that. What happened here? The average of 1. It's because this is the sum over it. So this needs to be 100 instead of 1. Okay. So that needs to be 100 because we want, because our respondents is not divided by 100. So let's move that to the back. Okay, so now what you could do is on this one, so let's edit the colors. Let's make the average of 0 a gray. Oops. Let's make that a gray, and we could maybe make the, let's go with one of our Makeover Monday colors. That's one of my favorite colors. Let's go with a purple. Let's put maybe the purple for the respondents. You can always change the colors later. And we get something like that. Now on my second bar chart, I'm going to just untick show labels. I'm going to set my axis to go from 0 to 1. Oops. Or no, 0 to 100. So again, I'm having to go to 100 because these are whole numbers. They're not percentages. Okay, so let's see here. So you got something like that. I could have these labels match the mark color, and that gives them, maybe a bit of a different look. Wow, something is wrong with my screen here. So Tableau medium, maybe make them a bit bigger. You can do something like that. So, and if I were going to finish that up, I'd hide the headers on both sides, and then go up to Format and my borders, and I'm going to get rid of my column dividers, get rid of my row dividers, get rid of my grid lines, get rid of my trend lines, and now I have a nice clean chart. Okay. I need to fix my aliases again. So isn't there I think there's like an abbreviation for financial services. Abbreviation for financial services. I think it's called like financial services. Okay, maybe it's 2 abbreviations for, what's the abbreviation for financial? What is the abbreviation for this? Okay, here we go. financial services industry. Okay, maybe I'll just go with that. So I'm going to edit my aliases on the sector. I'm going to call this one banking, call this one insurance, and I'm going to call this one other FSI, financial services industry. Okay, so now these labels look a bit better. All right, so okay, that's fine. So this is bar chart with 100%. All right, so let's do another chart. And this time, again, we're going to put industry there, respondents. I'm going to make this a line. And I'm going to just, let's see, I want to duplicate it. And then, no, I want to do it this way. So I want to duplicate, make it a combined axis view. Move measure names to let's see, I screwed something up there. So measure names, let's see here. No, that's wrong. So I want to have, I think again, I want to do the average of 100. Gosh, I can't remember how to do these things. And put that as a combined axis. Okay, good. Measure names onto path. There we go. So there's our rounded bars. But I need the scale to go the other way around. So let's see, is that right? So no, I think I have that wrong. This should be the average of 0. There we go. So now we have our bars, and I'm going to sort these by the field, descending, respondents. Okay, and I could show the labels on the ends again, but I don't want that. I want to have so just line ends. I don't want to label the start. Okay, I could change my color again, maybe to that pink color. So I think I'm just going to go with this pink color today. And I'm going to just grab the hex code for it. Okay, and then again, I could set my labels maybe to something like, 12 point, Tableau medium, maybe 11 point, match mark color. And now when I set this to fit entire view, I can uncheck show header, and I could then, let me undo that. I want this to go, I'm going to try to move these bars over close to the axis. So I want this to go from, let's say, if I started at 0 and go to, well, we can just make it an automatic at the end. You can see I've got a round edge. So now if I go to the size shelf and I increase the size of these, I've got a nice cutoff side on the one end, and I have a circle on the other end. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. But if I don't want it to be that circle, I could, if I just switch this back to automatic, I could do something like that. And now I've got circles on either side. So personal, whatever your personal preference is there. So maybe what I'll do, I'll leave it like that for now. But what I could do also, though, let me see if I have an image of it. I think I did. So I have this gray one behind it that shows the percentages as well. So if I do average of 100 here, I think this will work. Let's see. So I need to go, is this a, shoot, I can't remember how to do it. Okay, forget it. So this is my rounded bar chart. So I can't remember how to do this off the top of my head. So what I would probably do is just download the workbook and see how I did it. It looks like, to me, it looks like it's one object laid over top of the other, but you can't use measure names twice. I'm sorry, measure values twice. So that's what's kind of throwing me off in my head here. So again, this has all of the labels and everything. I'm sorry, all the grid lines. So I'm going to go to the nice cleaned up bar chart. I'm going to right click, copy formatting, go to this sheet and paste formatting. Oops, I lost my color, but that's okay. And, oh, well, okay, well that wasn't very helpful. All it did was remove the grid lines. So let me format, and let's go no, turn everything off, turn off my axis rulers, and there we go. So something like that. We could also maybe do, so we got rounded and stacked bars. Okay, one more thing I'm going to create. We could do pie charts, we could do donut charts, but you know, those aren't good practice, so let's forget those. We could go to, actually we could probably do, let's see if we can do the donut real quick. So let's create a calculated field, and I'm going to call that respondents. And I'm going to take my respondents and divide it by 100. So I just want it to be in percentage terms. I'm going to put the industry here, change my mark type to a pi, and I'm going to create another calculated field that is the remainder, and that's going to be 1 minus my respondents. So I'm going to put respondent percentage on, is that right? What am I doing here? So I want to have remainder as well. What did I do here? Okay, forget it. Delete. Yeah, so the last one I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to put the rows here. I'm going to put my respondent percentage here, and I'm going to make this a circle. Entire view. I'm going to change the color to purple, since that's what I'm going with today. And then I'm going to do the average of 100 here. And this one I'm going to make a bar. Oh, wow, the size got really enormous there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a dual axis and synchronize. And I want to put these in the back. Now I'm going to go to my all marks card and get rid of measure names and change these to maybe a light gray, something like that. Okay, so, and then I can sort these again by the field, descending, respondent percent, something like that. I'm going to change this, so I have an example of it here. This is kind of where the idea came from, so you could see these kind of stripy things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, so that looks like, okay, so I'm going to edit my axis. I want it to go from, let's say we want it to start at like point, oh, I don't know, 0.02, and then 102. Oh no, it should be -2, sorry. That's going to give us a bit of breathing room there. My tick marks, I'm going to set the origin to be, let's see, so we want to do fixed. We want it to be every 50. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to have this number in the middle. So 50. Okay. We got 50%. Okay, maybe we should edit this and let's, oops. And because none of the numbers go up to 100%, I'm just going to change it to 50. And then edit the axis. And let's go to like 52 instead. Okay, again, I'm trying to just make it look like this one here. So I'm going to add a, let's see. Right, so let's format, and I want to have my grid lines. Let's see, I want it to be for my columns. Let's do that. No zero line. Okay, and then I want this to actually be every, let's see, every 25. All right, so I've got that. And you see I have no axis on 0 and 50. How did I do that? Okay, so let's set the tick origin then to -5, and I want to go 30. Oops. Okay, there we go. So now we've got the value at 25%. I'm going to put, let's see, so let's edit this axis. Get rid of that. Okay, and what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put let's do, okay, so if I add on my totals, so column grand totals, right, and then if I just hide that, okay, so now I get a bit of blank space down here. And what I could do is I could put in a reference band for the respondents that goes from, so constant goes from 0, and then the 0 to constant of 50, and I want those to have no line and no fill. And then I could format these, oops, so format, and I'm going to center align those, maybe make them a nice, a bigger font, maybe 12, something like that. Okay, and I'm going to also format them so that the number format is custom and like that. So I'm just going to get rid of the decimal places. And I'm going to hide the header. And I'm going to format that, the grand total, and I'm just going to get rid of the word grand total to kind of hide the axis. And I've got some extra grid lines now, so I'm going to go to my borders and turn off, let's go to sheet. I'm going to turn off my row dividers and my column dividers. And then, oh, I need to reduce, let's see, what's going on there? Oh, my grand totals. And the grand totals for the header. Okay, so now we've got a bit more space here. My circles, I'm just going to go ahead and make those maybe bigger. Okay, we could even perhaps color code these by the respondent %. So let's put that on color. And let's use that purple color palette. Where is it here? Ooh, where's that purple? Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to, on the border on those, I'm going to put on my purple. So there we go, something like that. And this, I want to go from 1, and I want it to go to 50. Okay, that makes everything go light colored. Okay, so let's do 25. I'm just trying to make sure that the top one doesn't get too dark. Or, you know what, I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so now what I would do here is I'm going to put the value in the middle of the circle. So let's tick that. And alignment, center, and center. Allow overlap. Okay, so now the numbers are a bit big. So let me try 8 point. It might look a bit different once I get it on the dashboard. And then the size of the bars I'm going to make a bit thinner. Okay. So let's go ahead and throw this one into a dashboard now. So let's do that. Okay, and let's hide that. And I'm going to make it a bit thinner. It doesn't need to be so wide. Okay, maybe something like that. But I don't like the font there, so let's go back here. And on my label, I'm going to make it maybe 7. And let's see how that looks now. Okay, it looks a bit better. It looks really, really like kind of squishy looking. So format, let's make that maybe 10. Okay, that looks a bit better. And then format the chart. And I'm going to set that 0 line to be a bit darker. Or I'm sorry, that reference line in the middle oh, not 0 lines. That grid line, where is it here? Yes, there we go. Okay, so what else if I want to mimic this? Okay, so we want to say, so I'm not sure which one I like best. Let's see. Which one do I like best? So we've got the Waffle Chart. I kind of like this one, I think, the best. That random bars. So maybe I'll put it in slide sorter mode. So here we can see all the different options we have. So I'm going to, so can I hide the sheet? Yeah. This one I'm going to delete. That's just our regular bar chart. We've got our, okay, so let me go through here. So we've got our waffle chart, our bar chart, 100% bar chart, rounded. This is our dot plot. And this is our dot plot on the dashboard. So I think overall I probably like probably like this one the best. So I'm going to create a new dashboard. And let's put the, so I'm going to get rid of my phone layout. Actually, let's leave it on there and see what happens when we're done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to float a vertical container. Actually, I don't think I need to do that today. So let's put this one into the view. Get rid of those. Hide my field labels. And I'm going to show my caption, because down here is where I like to put in the caption, is where I like to put some of the, so like my data source. So data source is DataIQ, and then created by Andy Griebel at VizWizBI. Okay. So let's see, what else could we do here? I think the tooltips I want to get rid of. So let's go to the all marks card tooltip and uncheck that. All right, so now the only other thing I don't like is when they click on something, the bars get highlighted. So I'm going to use a trick I learned from Lindsay Poulter. So I'm going to create a new calculated field called dummy. And I'm just going to give it the name Charlie. Hopefully he's listening. And I'm going to stick that on the all marks card. I'm going to stick that on the detail shelf. Now, the way to make this work so it doesn't click something is I'm going to go up to Dashboard Actions, and I'm going to add a filter action. And this is going to be my dummy filter. Select, run on single select only. Oh, it doesn't probably matter actually. And then my target sheet has to be my bar chart with 100%. Now the trick here is in this source field. So I want to set this to go from dummy to something else, but it has to be something else that's not in the view. So actually, maybe we can use industry sector. Let's see what happens. And now when I click on something, you see it just kind of deselects it. So I am clicking here, it's just not doing anything. So that's good. Okay. I'm just trying to decide on the size now. And now I need to come up with a title. So where's the dashboard here? This was down at the bottom, I think, right? So sample. Respondents by industry sector. Okay, that's not very helpful. Okay, research, data assets, and data culture. So I know this is going to be respondents by industry sector. The point of the graph here, though, is putting a data asset and developing a data are not one of the same factors. Okay. Okay. But all it tells us is the people that responded to a, so this is what percentage, let's see, how do I want to do this? I need to come up with a good title here. Key findings, right, data strategy and data describes the level of adoption. Okay, so I could say how many respondents or what percentage of respondents by industry sector. Let's see, what is this called? Data assets and data culture. I spell that right? This is the part that always takes forever. Percentage of respondents by industry sector. Okay, so I'm just going to make that maybe a smaller font. Maybe make that one a lighter gray. Make this one bigger. Apply. Okay, so that's probably good enough. Yeah, so the reason I have these gray bars going up to 100% is because I like how it kind of fills everything up. And I guess that's it. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a couple of questions here. So could I post the workbook English Women at the end of the, okay, so let me see which one you're talking about. Yeah, I will post a link. I'll put a, so Susan, I will put a link to this dashboard in the notes for this video after it's done publishing. Okay, let's see. Why did it go to 50% if not giving it? Okay, so I don't understand what that question is. All right, so I think that's it for today. Yeah, so I didn't really get to run through too many options. I kind of fell in a couple of holes, but that's okay. Hopefully you found it useful. I enjoy doing these, so thanks for tagging along. And yeah, I guess that's it. And everybody have a great day.